Hello and welcome to Freedom Underground on the Voluntary Virtues Network. My name is James Weeks II. I'm going to start the show off here talking about ran across this today and thought it was quite funny. It's a press release from a couple days ago for a bill that Representative Stockman out of Texas is proposing, which he's coining it the Dog Ate My Tax Receipts Act. Basically what it does is taxpayers who do not produce documents for the Internal Revenue Service will be able to offer a variety of dubious excuses under the legislation, which he's trying to get put into effect after the excuses that the IRS has been given. I find this hilarious. These are some of the excuses that he's listing as applicable excuses in this bill for not turning over your tax receipts. This is awesome. It's just hilarious, the kind of shit that's going on. All right, number one, the dog ate my tax receipts. Number two, convenient, unexplained, malicious computer malfunction. Number three, traded documents for 5 terrorists. 4, burned for warmth while lost in the Yukon. 5, left on table in Hillary's book room. 6, received water damage in the trunk of Ted Kennedy's car. 7, forgot in gun case sold to Mexican drug lords. 8, forced to recycle by municipal green czar. 9, was short on toilet paper while camping. And 10, at this point, what difference does it make? Now, I don't normally support legislation, but this one is hilarious. This is called the Dog Ate My Tax Receipts resolution is what this this bill's being called. Oh man, it'll be quite hilarious if this actually goes through. In any way, I got to have a good laugh about it, and I hope you did as well. These excuses are just absolutely hilarious, and these will be, if this bill passes, these will be excuses you can use when the IRS is trying to do an audit on you. You can go ahead and tell them, you know, you forgot your tax receipts in a gun case and sold them to Mexican drug lords. And that'll be an excuse. That's on the books as a legitimate excuse. That will be great. I really do hope that this passes. I don't think it will. It's kind of a joke bill. But, you know, that really just shows you how fucking stupid government is, where you have a guy who's introducing bills that are jokes. You know, that's what they get paid to do. That's what that's what our taxpayer dollars go for, is to have guys write bills as jokes. But in any case, I got a good laugh out of it. Next story we'll cover here is one from CoinDesk about the X Prize founder, Peter H. Diamandis, I believe that's how you pronounce it, is swapping out his gold for Bitcoin. This guy's the founder of the X Prize Foundation, which was founded in 1995 with the goal of promoting emerging technologies through public competitions and initiatives. On the board of trustees of this foundation is PayPal's co-founder, president of the Huffington Post Media Group, and Google's co-founder. And basically what this guy is saying is that Bitcoin right now is a better investment than gold. And here's some quotes from his essay he wrote on it here. He said, at its core, Bitcoin is a smart currency designed by a very forward-thinking engineers. It eliminates the need for banks, gets rid of credit card fees, exchange fees, money transfer fees, and reduces the need for lawyers in transitions. All good things. Most importantly, it is a exponential currency that will change the way we think about money, much the same way email changed the way we thought of mail. This is absolutely true. Bitcoin is revolutionary in the way that we're going to be handling money. I mean, if you go on my YouTube channel, so what is my YouTube channel even called? I don't even remember. But I did a whole experiment where I actually lived on Bitcoin for a while there. I lasted about a month, and it was really cool. You can actually live on Bitcoin and you know, use it as your day-to-day currency, which is really cool. So we're already pretty far into the adoption of Bitcoin, and he listed the 5 phases of adoption of Bitcoin in his thing, borrowing it from Second Market founder Barry Stilbert. These are the 5 phases. Phase 1 was the deceptive and experimental phase, which took place from 2009 to 2011. Phase 2, starting in 2011, was the beginning of the early adopter phase. Phase 3, which is 2012 through mid-2014, is described as the beginning of the venture capital phase. This is what we're in right now, is Phase 3 of this Bitcoin adoption, which is thousands of Bitcoin companies are getting founded and creating the user interface of Bitcoin, making it very user-friendly to use. According to Diamondus, he's expecting to see the start of Phase 4, which is the Wall Street phase, which will be marked by the institutional money acknowledging digital currencies as an actual asset. And so that'll be what we're coming into with this year and next year. And then after that is Phase 5, which will be the mass global consumer adoption. And according to Diamondus, he believes it's only 2 years away. So that's pretty close to where we are now. You know, it's just 2 years to go. We're looking to see mass consumer adoption of Bitcoin. That would be so I can't wait. Bitcoin is an amazing way to get out of the state, an amazing way to free yourself from their money system. It's an amazing way. It's really just the way that you can transfer money is so simple. When I first started my experiment on living on Bitcoin myself, I actually did it because I ran out of my house without my wallet one day, and I was like, well, I've got no cash, because I was thinking about doing it, and then I ran out of my house and forgot my wallet, and I was like, well, I got my cell phone, so I logged on to Gift and I purchased the purchased a gift card to Burger King and was able to buy lunch using Bitcoin. He concluded his essay with saying, learn, do, teach, go experiment. Create a Bitcoin wallet and buy some Bitcoin. There's no better way to learn than by just doing that. Just go use Bitcoin yourself. Just try it out. It's an amazing technology. If you're not involved with Bitcoin, I highly suggest you get involved and experiment with some Bitcoin. It is an amazing technology and an amazing way to say fuck the state. Now, for some bad news here. This is a story coming from RT, where 39 women were illegally sterilized in California prisons. There was a study done of the 144 inmates who underwent sterilization. There was an audit that was done that showed that 39 of them had not been done according to the California law. In 12 instances, they were done too quickly. Some of them were done too quickly upon having it be requested, apparently, because there's supposed to be some sort of 180-day waiting time to be done before they do the sterilization. And some of them were done. Some of them even showed that the paperwork was forged. And they're saying they don't know the true number of how many were done illegally. According to Democratic State Senator Tad Leo, it makes me sick to my stomach. This audit shows systematic failures by the federal receiver in the sterilization of female inmates. I'm also surprised that the receiver makes the argument that they had no legal duty to make sure prison employees were complying with the consent procedures. So I also agree with him that that's a ludicrous argument. The audit showed that the women that were receiving these tubal ligations had been in prison once before. So it looks like they're trying to target pressuring these women who are repeat offenders to get sterilized. All right, so that's kind of a little bit fucked up. They're doing that. Next story is coming from Georgetown, Texas, where a 19-year-old is facing a life sentence for marijuana brownies. A Round Rock man is facing a possible life sentence for allegedly making and selling marijuana-laced brownies. The minimum sentence is 5 years. The maximum is life. Police say the maximum is so high because the brownies contain not only marijuana, but hash oil. Are you fucking kidding me? It didn't only contain marijuana, it contained marijuana. Apparently the neighbor had called the police because she smelled marijuana, and according to the police, he gave permission to search the apartment. According to him, he did not give any permission. He did not give consent. He's saying it's very frightening. It really is. It's putting me in a really scary situation. Honestly, I can't stop crying about it. I understand. I understand that completely. The guy, I mean, he's just trying to make some pop brownies, and here comes the police saying a life sentence he's facing. Possible life sentence for pot, because he was making brownies with pot in them. This is absolutely ridiculous. That, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous that marijuana is illegal in the first place, as it's illegal that all drugs are illegal, because it doesn't harm you. It's a voluntary thing. You're not harming anyone. You're consuming the drugs by your own volition. And this guy over here, he's cooking up some pot brownies, and the police are trying to put him in jail for life for pot brownies. It's absolutely ridiculous that the state could even think that a life sentence would be something that would be something legitimate for pot. It's pot. It's not a big deal. It's pot, for fuck's sake. I mean, even if it was, I mean, it just is astounding to me that anyone could think that that would be an appropriate punishment for pot. It's, I mean, you shouldn't, I mean, it's not to say that pot is any way a better drug to do than any other drug. I don't mean to imply that at all. But there's so much acceptance of marijuana in our society today. To even think that they'd still be trying to put people away for life for pot is absolutely insane. I mean, I live in Michigan. Michigan is a medical state where you can go get your medical card and enjoy the use of pot without the threat of violence being used against you. They extort you for like, $150 or whatever it is, cost a card. I can't exactly remember. And then you don't have to worry about that anymore. But It's absolutely ridiculous. This guy in Texas, 99 years is what the maximum sentence is, a life sentence, for pot, because he made brownies out of it. I mean, if it wasn't made into brownies, would it still been a life? I don't, like, how strict are these laws in Texas that you have someone facing 99 years for that? When I read that, I couldn't even believe it. It's ridiculous. I mean, I've never even heard of someone going to jail for 99 years for a life sentence for fucking, like, meth. You know, I've never heard that. But this kid, he makes pot brownies and he's facing life. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. Oh, that's the state for you. Here's a story out of Albuquerque, where there was a protest being done against the violence of the APD, where a big community, a couple hundred people, protested the killings that the police are doing out there in Albuquerque. And apparently there was a undercover agent that infiltrated this protest, dressed in a tie-dye shirt, you know, and long hair with a beard. So, you know, he's an undercover officer trying to make it look like he's not a cop. And he's taking pictures of these protesters. Why does he need to do that? But the protester organizer, Shira Namaste, was really unhappy about the police officers infiltrating this protest. She says, "We are peaceful, we are lawful. There was no issue with the people who were marching today, so why were they surveilling us? That doesn't make sense." Well, that's just what they do. Oh yeah, here it is. He wore a tie-dyed t-shirt, had long brushed back out of his eyes, long hair brushed back out of his eyes, dark sunglasses, and an unkempt beard. Apparently, the sergeant could not be reached for comment on this thing. It is unclear whether the officer was armed, but he was carrying a camera taking pictures of the protesters. You know, the chants and signs are saying, they say justified, we say homicide, no more shootings, jail killer cops, end APD violence. The kicker about this undercover officer at the rally here was that this undercover officer was one of those killer cops. He was a cop who killed 20-year-old Dominique Salas Mora, shooting him in the stomach over a drug thing here. So in this protest against the police brutality, against the police killing people, they send in an undercover officer who was one of these cops that were out there killing people. So, I mean, it's really fucked up that they would do that. You know, this guy, you know, they're sending this guy to go infiltrate a protest. This protest, like, it was a good thing that, you know, he didn't get recognized until like afterwards or something, because that it could have really. It seems like they were trying to rile up him into inciting violence by sending this guy who's a known killer cop into this rally to go take pictures of the protesters. Yeah, in APD, since January of 2010, police have shot 36 people. They killed 26 of them. The police are out of control out there. Even the U.S. Department of Justice is saying that they've determined that the city has a systematic pattern of violating citizens' civil rights, especially through the use of force. So even the U.S. Department of Justice is saying the APD is fucking going nuts. The organizer of the rally had communicated with the APD about this rally and had meetings actually discussing the rally, and she said that there were no plans for having these undercover agents at these rallies. So they did that without the knowledge of the organizers. And the organizer of the rally, Namaste, said, "We don't know what the APD is doing. If they're undercover, we don't know. There isn't any need. Nothing we're doing is illegal. This is inappropriate, and it's inappropriate that they would be putting us under surveillance because we are peaceful and we have the right to assemble." And they were aware of that we were doing this. We were in communication with them. There were no incidents between any uniformed officers and demonstrators, although, according to, of course, you're going to attack this, and one man yelled an expletive at two officers. Of course, the fucking media is going to attack that in here. But that is how APD gets down in a rally protesting the cops being violent psychopaths, beating people up and shooting people up so much that even the U.S. Department of Justice is saying that they're beating people up too much and killing them too much. And they send one of these killer cops into this rally to go spy on these people. Absolutely ridiculous that they would do something like that. All right. Here's a story coming from Kansas now. Here's another stupid thing the fucking state does. There's a boy was forced to remove his little free library from his yard in Kansas. According to the story, the idea of sharing his love with books with his neighbors was thrilling to the 9-year-old Spencer Collins. So with the help of his parents and his grandparents, apparently, he set up a little free library in their front yard in Leawood, Kansas, when the city authorities told him to take it down. Basically, these little free libraries are like a little box, like a dollhouse size thing, like up on stilts, put up on a fence. It's just a little, there's a picture of it right there. You know, so it's just a, just a box with a door on it, glass door, that, has books in it, that neighbors can come up and they can take a book, they can leave a book, and it's a great community thing. It's a great mutual aid thing to spread information with people. It's like the internet, but local with books, where you're able to spread information so wonderfully with people. According to the city, it's an illegal detached structure, and they forced him to remove it. Spencer Collins has not given up on it. He's planning to appear at the city council meeting to try and get these little libraries allowed. That they should. Apparently, he'll have some supporters. A lot of people are supporting his having his little free library set up there. Hopefully, he does get this this bullshit that Leawood, Kansas is doing to him here, trying to not let him spread information with people. Hopefully, that gets resolved, because I mean, this is just showing you that we don't need the government to provide a library for people. People can provide libraries on their own, without government. We can have a mutual aid situation where it's just people put their books out there for people to take a book and leave a book. And, so the government can't let that happen, because if the people realize, hey, you know what, we don't have to have the government to provide libraries for the people, then maybe people will say, hey, we're not going to up your library millages. We're not going to pay the taxes for the library. We're just going to go ahead and build a library right in our community for ourselves and cut you guys out of it completely, which is exactly what a network of these little free libraries could do. And so far there are, where does it say? There's something like 10,000 of these across the world right now. So hopefully that number grows more and more, to where lots of these little free libraries emerge, and we can just keep the books moving around in them. And it's a great way to get especially like libertarian and anarchist propaganda out there through these kind of things. Go stick some anarchist libertarian books in these little free libraries, put them up in our communities, for our neighbors to do. Of course, mix some other books so it's not just all, put some children's books and stuff in there. But that would probably be a really good direct action situation for us to do, is actually start doing what this kid's doing here, and putting these little free libraries up in our neighborhood, putting books in there, putting educational books, putting books on economics in there, putting children's books in there, all kinds of stuff that people can enjoy, as well as, of course, our anarchist propaganda. And if we did this, that would spread so much information, because people seem to like this idea. And it doesn't take much. Like, that's all it is just a little box with some books in it, and you're good to go. You got your little free library set up, and that's all we need to do. So I think we should take a lesson from this and do that for ourselves. And if the city councils try and make us take it down, we just say fuck you and don't comply, because fuck them. Here's a nice story coming from Miami, where this here shows you what the state really is for, and the state has always been for, and that is to protect this so-called moneyed class, I guess, to protect the currently entrenched ruling class. It depends on what theory you're talking about. You call it the parasitic class, of course, it's called the bourgeoisie, call it whatever you want to call it. But with this whole Lyft incident, where you have this company trying to compete in the transportation industry, you have the Miami police being used to shut this company down, protecting the cab companies and limo companies against competition, to keep competition out of the market, to act as a protection racket for the corporate interests of the limo and taxi companies and their lobbies and shit. Now, so what they're doing is they're spending the taxpayer money on this, and they're going undercover and calling up Lyft and saying, "Hey, Lyft, come pick us up." And then they get a ride from these people, and it turns out it's an undercover cop. And they go ahead and they take their car away from them, and they slap them with a whole bunch of fines. And that is how the police are protecting the limo and cab companies against competition. And so but Lyft is covering the driver's fines and expenses, which is great news. Great news that they're sticking by their people there, and they are actually covering the cost of this in their fight to be competitive in a marketplace that is protected by, it has corporate protections in keeping the competition out. I mean, and it's funny because I remember articles where you had the limo and cab companies were arguing back and forth, and now the limo and cab companies are like uniting against Lyft. They're like, oh my God, because there was like limo and cab companies were fighting with one another because each one of them saw the other one as unfair competition, and now the limo and cab companies are uniting to lobby the government to go after companies like Lyft that are trying to compete with the transportation of people, because apparently picking someone up and driving them to another location and them throwing you a little bit of money, that's a crime in Miami. Thank you. This has been Freedom Underground on the Voluntary Virtues Network. Until next week.